Guys, it's Mock Draft Monday. Every Monday, we take a look at the potential mock draft for the Cincinnati Bengals, who they could take, how they could go in what directions. We've been doing this now for, I think, 8 episodes, so it's not like this is just because the offseason's here or we're, obviously no longer in the playoffs or not in the playoffs at all. This is just because we've been doing this every Monday. I think, the last 8 Mondays. So we just like to take a look at this. We're not getting into draft content until April, so don't think this is like the catalyst of every single day draft content. It's not. And again, some of these players, most of these players I'm talking about, I know a little bit about right now, but I'm going to learn a lot more as we get closer to the draft. I'm about to do my research on every single player on this list when we get closer to the draft, as always, and I'll have my draft boards and, Right now, though, this is kind of where we're looking at. So, let's talk about it. 18th overall pick, and again, as always, Brock Bowers goes at the 14th overall pick, and this is pretty much every draft we do. He is selected right before us. Even if I, try my best here to get lucky here and see if he could be available at the situation, he's seemingly always available. And now J.C. Latham, another guy I wanted, is taken. So, again, like I said, in real life, is it possible that Brock Bowers drops? Absolutely. Going into last year, we thought there was a 0% chance that what's-his-name was ever going to drop. There was a 0% chance that Michael Mayer would drop or Sam Laporta. And both of them ended up dropping straight to where we were picking, and we could have taken both of them. But at the end of the day, we didn't take either. And right now, Brock Bowers is going from anywhere from 8 all the way up to 15. But again, Michael Mayer last year in the mock drafts, he was going anywhere from 15 to 20. And he ended up going the second round, middle of the second round to the Raiders. So it's very possible that even though, yes, we could sit here and say that, there's a chance we could get him. There is a chance we could get him. It's very possible. Chances are, though, even if we did have a chance at him, I don't know if we would get him. I really don't. I think we will take a tight end in this draft 100%. If we don't sign one in free agency, we're going to take a tight end in this draft 100%. If we do sign one in free agency, Dalton Schwartz is an option to sign in free agency. And there's a couple other guys too, Mike Krasicki and Hunter Henry and etc. Although I will say, I feel like if we do take a tight end in the draft, I do want to take one maybe a little bit earlier than I first expected. Because you guys were right. You guys told me down below, you said, hey man, look at the tight ends. Some of the tight ends, are really good earlier. And you can't wait till late to take a tight end here. We need a tight end on this roster. And having a guy near the goal line would be amazing, right? Having that kind of goal line option of what we kind of wanted with Darnell Washington, where you got a 6'7", 6'6" guy in the red zone, throw the ball up to him and get a touchdown, always a great thing. Now, I will still stick to my opinion here with the 18th overall pick. You got to take right tackle. I think that's really the only option. Yes, while Kool-Aid McKenzie and if Brock Bowers is available or potentially someone else, you have that option, and mentally you can say and make the argument, and I probably would agree with it, that there's a reason why you should take a different position. But unless you get Jonah Williams back on a contract that you like and you fully have confidence that he's going to be the starting right tackle, and even then, I still don't like it. Because you want and you need a franchise right tackle. We need to fix this offensive line. And it starts off with the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Your blind side and your right-hand side. Your tackles are the most important. So now you have 2 options. You have J.C. Latham from Alabama and you have Mims from Georgia. And I've seen many times in the chat, you guys absolutely love Mims. 6'7", 340 pounds. Again, J.C. Latham here, 6'6", 335 pounds. Both of them really great options. I'm going to go with J.C. Latham, but I could see why people would want to go with Mims. So let's go with a franchise right tackle in this draft. And again, keep in mind that, J.C. Latham played right tackle in college every single year. He also played right guard if you need to play right guard. But he is a 100% bona fide right tackle that we would be selecting and getting a franchise right tackle for this team. Now, second round, a lot of people have been telling me that this guy right here, Sanders, he's not the guy you want. This is a guy who's very much like Irv Smith, and he has a lot of tendencies like Irv Smith, which, again, like I said, I've not watched his game tape yet, and I'm really gonna have to study up on this guy. But okay, that's very interesting. Now, I know in the second round, before I took I actually went with a defensive lineman. I went with Chris Jenkins. A lot of people dislike that pick. In this pick, then, if you're not going with Chris Jenkins, a defensive lineman, which, again, I feel like we just need to replace, if we lose DJ Reader, we need to replace that position. There's not many other players too high on this board that I love. I know the whole thing is do not take a corner or wide receiver from TCU. That's like the age-old thing here. Now, 6 foot tall, 190 is not a bad option. And then you have DJ Jones, who's good in coverage, not really good in run defense. And I feel like if we're going to take a corner or safety, we're going to take someone who's good in run defense, because that's what we need. That's the problem we had this year with our safeties. And I love Jordan Battle and I love Dax Hill, but it's really been the fact that we need safeties that can play the run. That's what we got with Jesse Bates. That's what we have with Von Bell. I'm not saying you're going to draft someone and they're automatically going to be the equivalent of those two guys. Absolutely no. But at the end of the day, you need someone who can play the run. That's what Lou needs in his defense. So if you're going to get someone here, you're going to get someone who can play the run, who can kind of match up and actually play pretty good for us. And could you go at Rod Moore here? A safety, 6 foot tall, 198 out of Michigan? Absolutely. Not really the greatest coverage grade, and he had not the greatest year last year. But yeah, you could go ahead and put him in this. In the box, he's played 98 snaps last season, 152, 62. And yeah, so in the run support game, he's played a lot of snaps in the box. But he's played more snaps deep than he has in the box, which again, it is what it is. And then slot, he's also played some. He hasn't played many on the defensive line. And then corner, not many as well. So you could go with him. You could replace Nick Scott. Obviously, you're going to cut Nick Scott this offseason. Maybe move Rod Moore in there in that kind of role. Rotational piece. Put him in the box a little bit. He isn't the biggest guy of all time. I mean, again, 198 pounds, 6 foot tall. But still, could get something there going on there. Other than that, could you go wide receiver? Absolutely. You know, you're going to potentially got to figure out what you're going to do with T. Higgins, but you're going to lose Tyler Boyd. And obviously, yes, Yoshi's going to have to be that replacement, but you still need someone eventually. If you don't get T. Higgins' contract signed, you're going to have to get someone to eventually replace him. You got a South Carolina guy here, Xavier, 6'3", 227 pounds. Big guy here. Great receiver. Great versus man coverage. Could you go with him? Absolutely. Go with wide receiver here. I do want to go wide receiver in this draft, potentially, but I might want to go a little bit later on in this draft. Now, for those who say, well, what about guard? What about, we need to replace Cordell Volson? Here's the problem is, you're not going to take Christian Haynes, who I do really like. You're not going to take him here this early on. Realistically speaking wise, you're going to want to take him next round in the third round and hope he's still available. Now, if he's not still available, then that's going to be kind of where you sit at. And right now, with how this mock draft's going to go, he probably won't be available. So you could take him right here. You could try to go guard and try to work on your offensive line, which obviously, yes, is very important. You could go with another tackle. I'm going to go with, personally here, and this might be a questionable pick, I'm going to go with the safety, Rod Moore, just because I kind of talked myself into that, and I don't mind that pick. But, for example, that guard that we talked about, where did he go? Is he still available? Well, crap. Hang on. He already got taken. Like I said, so, it sucks, man, because, sometimes you wait for a player, and they get taken. Yup, he went to the Lions. So the Lions got themselves a pretty good guard right there. And now we're kind of in that situation where it's like, okay, now we want to get a replacement, right? We want to get a replacement for Volson. You could go with Tate here. He's played mainly right guard in college. Obviously, yes, he could convert over. 6'6", 310 pounds. You got another right guard in Christian here that you would have to convert over. And again, I say that for the aspect of you could always still, put someone on the left-hand side here. I mean, you could put a right guard and left guard, but sometimes they can't play as well. Maybe you go with Cooper Beebe here, a guy who would play left guard in Kansas State. Not as big of a college as he does other options. But this would be a little bit of a reach. But you know what? I'm going to take him here. I'm going to take a guard here. And now we have ourselves, what? A safety, a right tackle, and a guard. So literally replacing what we need here. And now we could literally just sit here and enjoy Cade Stover, a tight end from Ohio State here. 6'4", 251. Get ourselves a tight end. Get ourselves an Irv Smith replacement. I love that pick. Actually, literally dropped to us in a perfect way right there, to be honest. Great option there to just drop to us. Now I'm looking at cornerback. That's definitely a position I would love to kind of work on here. And we still need to work on defensive line as well. We got Tennessee. Tennessee's in they're not the Big Ten or the SEC. I forget which one it is. I think one will say the Big Ten. Anyway, though, 6'1", 197 pounds. Apologize for that. I don't know why my phone is like going crazy right now. But you know, I'm not against the idea of going with this guy right here. Kind of 6 picks off of what we can expect him to go. So let's go with Kamel here. Get ourselves a corner. So now we have another 5th round pick. Yeah. Okay. Let me see what linebackers are available. Because that's something we do need to target in this draft as well, is linebacker. Ooh, I might go with Michael Barrett here. I'm going Michael Barrett here from Michigan. So now we got a linebacker. What else do we need here? We need... I think we do need a defensive line. I think we do need a defensive lineman of some kind. Interior, exterior. We need something to give us. I'm not saying that we're going to go that high up. And obviously, again, I don't know if we're going to a 2nd round pick on one. But we do need something in the run defense game. We have 6'3", 356 pound Evan Anderson here from Florida Atlantic. Not the biggest college, but you know, it doesn't mean the guy's not going to play good here. And we kind of have to take him here because he's not going to be available with our next pick. And then our second to last pick here, we have 2 picks left. Now we're going to my boy Brent, which I always take in this draft. I love taking him. And then our last pick here, yeah, I'll take a running back in the 7th round, see what it works out. I know some people are going to say punter. Some people are going to say punter. You know what? I'm already taking this guy. Listen. In this pick, I go running back, okay? I want to stress this up. I am not selecting him because of the fact I think we're going to take him. I don't think we're going to take a punter at all. I think we go Brad Robbins 100%. He's our punter moving forward. Nobody's going to replace him. But I'm going to take this guy just because the stream, every time I stream for the games, everyone tells me to take this guy. So I'm only going to take him because of that reason. But if I had to select a real player, it was going to be Carson Steele. But I'll take him just for the memes. Just for the memes, I'll take him. And that's going to ruin my whole draft. They give me a D+ for Rod Moore. Okay. A D+ for the guard. Interesting. They give me a C+ for the punter. I love it. Michael Barrett, they give me a C+. So again, I went a little bit different than how I usually draft. And if you see my draft videos so far, all my draft videos, you know this is not really how I usually draft. Which, again, like I said, I kind of want to do that, though, when it comes to these mock drafts. Like, I want to put different names out there, right? Because it's really easy to just keep copy and pasting the same exact list, right? I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And I think last year I did a really bad job in my mock drafts. One thing I wish I would have worked better on and did better on was selecting different players and seeing different scenarios of how players drop. And this year, that's what I'm really trying to focus on, is trying to see different players and how they drop or how they move, depending on what happens. So again, like I said, well, yes, this is not my typical great mock draft. I still got a B, by the way. I still got a B grade. So overall wise, W. Usually I get a B+, but I got a B on this grade. I kind of want to see, different options, right? Different names we could talk about, and it's all going to go toward my ultimate draft board at the end of this offseason. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.